Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NFL Picks. I'm your host, Megaroar31. I am in a hotel right now, and I'm filming this on my phone because we got a snowstorm going on, and I had to work late tonight and turn around and get back in the morning. So hopefully if you're out there in the weather, affected by it, or you're safe. So interesting week 18 here. Lots of people resting, lots of people playing for incentives and contracts, lots of people not playing at all. So I don't have my normal setup, so I'm going to break down this as quickly as possible for you and hopefully help you out with your builds. It's probably a GPP day. It's going to be hard to play cash, but we'll still give you some cash examples and hope for the best there. So doing a pretty decent 9-leg parlay on this also, because I think there's a lot of lines that I really think I could take advantage of. So first game is Cleveland-Cincinnati, 37.5 total. I'm going to take the under on that. Cincinnati is favored by 7.5. We'll have to see. Like, Cleveland's resting everybody. No Joe Flacco, probably no Ford. We'll have to see, like, with the running back. It doesn't look like Njoku's playing, or their wide receivers. Cooper is out, and I believe Elijah Moore is out also, so I have to watch for that. But I think it's going to be a decent defensive game. I don't know if Mixon's going to play. He was sick also during the week. He doesn't have an injury designation right now, but I think, Brown would be decent on that team, as or maybe Irwin. Chase says he's going to play, but I don't see why would go out there. Higgins is not playing. Cincinnati has nothing to play for, so pretty much going to X out this team. But I think that as a running back for Cleveland, that's strong, would probably be a pretty popular value play at running back. Next game is going to be a weather game in New England. The Jets go visit there. New England's favored by 1.5, 30.5 total. Pretty confident that New England's going to win this game, just because it's probably going to be Bill Belichick's last game, and they probably know that. It's probably not going to be announced until Black Monday after the fact. But I think that will definitely, the team will go out there and play for him, try to get the win. It is winnable. I think both defenses, like, the weather's going to be horrible here. So, this is a showdown where you probably take both kickers and running backs and hope for the best. At 30.5, I thought about taking the under on it, but in reality, that's a 17-14 game, which it could happen, especially with the defenses if the weather's bad and it's sloppy and there's turnovers and things like that. So probably not touching anything this game except for potentially the defenses. Like, the New England defense is definitely in play, and I think the Jets is too. Tampa Bay and Carolina. Now, this is a really good game. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. They're negative 4.5 versus 36.5 total. They should go out there and be able to put a really strong showing up and really dominate Carolina. Carolina's been horrible against the run, so I think, if you're paying up for running back, that White is the top play on the slate there. I know people will probably be going chasing Pollard, but we'll get to that when you get to the Dallas game. But if you can do it, White, and if you can run it back with the Tampa Bay defense, that's really good. Evans is decent also. Baker Mayfield and GPP, I think it's okay. He's got some contract incentives to go out and play. I think he had a rib injury. He's a little banged up, but he should be out there and playing. Carolina, don't really trust anything there. Bryce Young, Hubbard. It looks like Thielen's going to be the only wide receiver. Like, most of the rest of them are banged up and out. So we'll have to see there. So who suits up. There might be some value, but again, not really targeting a ton here for the game other than the Tampa Bay side. Minnesota and Detroit, negative 3. Detroit says 3.5 favorite, 46.5 total. Pretty nice here. As you can see, it's my number one game on the slate. I think go either quarterbacks. I think Mullins will be very popular in cash games. He's just going to go out there and pretty much audition for a game. They had the other guy start last week, and he was horrible. He was pulled, and they put Mullins in there. Dobbs has been inactive. So, and it looks like they might be moving on from Cousins. I saw some rumors he might be traded to Atlanta in the offseason. So, we'll have to see. So Mullins is definitely going to be going out there and probably throwing the ball around, trying to keep his job or earn a job someplace. So, he's definitely in play for quarterback. For running back, really not on the running game for Minnesota. I think Jefferson's a great pair for him. If you want to go with one of the other wide receivers, that's fine. Their tight end Mundant is really cheap on both sites and probably pretty popular too. If people are punting tight end, there's some pay up options that are good, but if you just want to go all the way down, pretty close. I think he's like $3K. Then definitely in play there. Detroit side, Campbell said he's going to play everybody. They do have a chance if Philly and Dallas both lose to get the 2 seed. If both those teams are dominating, then at halftime you run the risk of them maybe calling off the Dogs and Goff only playing a half and Amon St. Brown only playing a half. The one person I probably really want to look at is with Jameson Williams is going to be out because he hurt his ankle on a long pass play. So, there might be some options with some of the cheaper wide receivers on Detroit there, and they might stay in later in the game. So you can play it for Laporta if you want to, if you think he's going to play the whole game. But I think Detroit's more of a GPP, especially the running back with Gibbs and Montgomery. Montgomery might be the safer play because if they are just trying to run the clock out and stuff, they might use him a little bit more. But again, it could be anything with Dan Campbell here. So I think Detroit, again, is more of a GPP play than anything for cash. Atlanta and New Orleans. New Orleans is favored by 3. I think they really want to go out there and win this game. They've been playing well recently, and I think Atlanta has not. So I think they can definitely go out there and score, win by more than 3 points. So I'm taking New Orleans in the -3, definitely. They're 42.5 total. Atlanta side, it's just a scratch-up lottery ticket. London, I guess, is in play. Pitts is in play. Jonnu Smith is in play. Bijan Robinson really hasn't done much. I think it was Cordell Patterson or Allgeier was the one that caught the pass and for the backfield and ran long last week. It's just so frustrating. So they don't know how to run this team, and anybody can do anything at any point, or anybody can do nothing at any point. So not touching them. New Orleans, Kamara could be banged up. If he's not in, then definitely his backup, Jamal Williams, would be a very good play. Atlanta's horrible against the run. Carr, I think, is definitely in play. Olave, dealing with an ankle injury. He doesn't have an injury designation now, so we'll have to see what's going on with that. Could probably be a decent GPP play. Shaheed he's got some speed, can catch some balls. And Taysom Hill has been back, but hasn't been fully used. I think he's still a little bit banged up, but he does have the potential all the time. And Juwan Johnson, he was questionable, but if he's in and fine, then he's definitely somebody to consider. He's just been getting a lot of targets recently also. Final game of the 1 o'clock is Jacksonville and Tennessee. Jacksonville is a 4.5 favorite, 42.5 total overall. I think that's my 4th favorite game of the week. So it all depends on if Lawrence is playing. He's just banged up, and they're trying to, if they win, they win the division. If they lose, I think Houston wins the division. So it's a pretty amazing story for this year. So if Lawrence is in, he's good. Ingram as tight end, I really like him. Not super high on the run game. Tennessee has been very stout against the run. Definitely Ridley in play, and I think one of the chalkiest plays on the slate is going to be Kirk. He should be back. He's only $3K minimum price, and with other injuries and stuff, he should definitely be able to pay off his price tag there and maybe even smash it. So I think he might be one of the highest owners plays in cash for that. Tennessee side, I don't know who's going to be doing quarterback. Tannehill might be back. some of the other guys are Levis has been banged up. We'll have to see if he's able to go out there. But Hopkins has an incentive, and he doesn't really need to catch that much. But it would be, I think, over 100 yards or so. And I think that he's one that they want to keep happy and that he's going to be around for a few years. So he's one that I'm going to be targeting in GPPs for that. Henry, I have really no interest in. Cook was always there as a tight end, but really not super interested in much else. So now we have the 4 o'clock games. The first one is going to be Philly at the Giants. Philly's only favored by 4.5. I think that's way too low, so I'm going to put that in my parlay. 41.5 total. So, I mean, you can stack whoever you want from Philly, but I just fear that if Dallas is super far ahead, that Philly doesn't have anything really to play for to advance their position, so you can only get 1/2 out of the starters here. So Hurts is in play. I think their running back is a little banged up, so I'll have to see if Swift is going to play too. That might open up some value there in the running back position. We do definitely know that Devontae Smith is out, so A.J. Brown should have more target share. And then, is it going to be Julio Jones, who caught like 2 passes for 2 touchdowns last week? I don't think that's going to replicate itself again. But, Zacchaeus is in there. Maybe Goddard gets some more. So I definitely like him at the tight end position. The Giants, like Tyrod Taylor is going to be in play. Barkley, I'm not interested in. Wendell Robinson, Slayton, maybe the tight end seems to be in play also. Philly defense, if you think the Giants are going to struggle. So more GPP plays. I don't think there's anything really from this game I'm going to play in cash, just because, again, if Dallas is up big on Washington, I think they might shut it down. Denver and Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are only favored by 3. I think I'm going to take that in my parlay. 37.5 total. Obviously, backup quarterback for Denver. Russell Wilson's not going to play. They don't want to hit him to hit his incentives. So he's done for the year. Not interested in the Denver running game. Sutton has cleared concussion protocol, I believe, but I don't know if they're going to play him or not. I mean, he's locked up for another couple of years, so why risk it? Judy, Mims potentially, but nobody really like on Denver's side. I don't think I like the Raiders' defense a lot here. And Jacobs is ruled out again, so Zamir White is another great play at running back. Devontae Adams continues to get catches. So, there's some decent plays there for the Raiders, cash and GPP. Kansas City's resting their guys against the Chargers. Chargers only have a 3.5 favored. The total is 35.5, and with everybody that Kansas City is resting and the Chargers having so many injuries, I'm going to take the under on this. On my parlay, under 35.5 points. So, I mean, there's some value in KC, but it's just going to be GPP only. The only one I'd really touch is maybe Gray, who's usually probably at like 2.5, I think, on DK, minimum price as a tight end option. Chargers really don't like anything. I think there's some incentives for Eckler, but I don't think they want him to get it, so they probably won't use him that much. I mean, really, Stick's not a good quarterback right now. I don't think there's really anything besides maybe the Chargers D that I'd really look at in this game. Pacheco's probably going to be out. Kelsey's going to be out. Rice is definitely out. Mahomes is definitely out. Or is most likely out. So, I mean, if you want to try Edward Helene there at running back, but there's so many other better running back value plays on the slate. So, again, probably just going to cross off this game unless the piece is in GPP. Dallas at Washington. Dallas is favored by 13.5, 46.5 total, which is pretty decent. I think Dallas is just going out there and cook. We saw CeeDee Lamb just have an amazing game. Washington's not going to stop him. Dak's going to have a pretty good game. I think you can look at definitely Schultz as tight end also. Cook. And again, like I said, with Pollard, like most of the backups are out. So like he has backfield to himself, and Again, if they get it big, they may hand it off to him, but he's just been so volatile. Like, I see a lot of recommendations for him in cash this week, and his price tag has come way down. I think he's only like 6,500, which I get it, but I think if I'm playing him, I play more in GPP than cash. Washington, if you want to play Dallas, stack him right back with like McLaren, I don't hate that. It looks like, they were looking a little bit more to him. Samuel, there's so many different potential options there for whoever could get the high hand for if they're behind and throwing the ball. But Dallas' defense is pretty good, and with Micah Parsons and some of the other ones with the pass rush, I don't know if they're even going to have time to throw the ball down the field. So probably not going to play much Washington. Seattle and Arizona. I really like this game. It should have like the best weather, being in a dome, and Arizona's been putting up some points in Seattle, but I think Seattle's going to win by more than 3 points, so I'm definitely going to take the -3 there in my parlay. And 47.5 total is pretty nice also. So Geno Smith, he's got contract incentives to make the playoffs, so definitely like him. Arizona can't stop any of the runs, so Walker 3, he's questionable. If he's not in, then Charbonnet would be probably one of the best plays on the slate as a great value at running back. And I'll probably run it back with Connor. Pairing up, I see a lot of people on Lockett. I think I'd prefer to try to get up to Metcalf to pair with Geno Smith there. And on the Arizona side, I mean, if you want to play Murray in a GPP, that's fine. Pair him up with McBride. I really don't trust any of the rest of the wide receivers. Like, it'd just be Connor there. Chicago and Green Bay. I'm actually going to take Chicago, who's like on the road here at Green Bay, but favored to lose by 3. So I think this is a very winnable game for them, 45 total. Green Bay is so banged up. They're trying to make the playoffs. Chicago wants to play spoiler. Yes, they're locked into the number 1 pick, and yes, they can, by winning, they can affect their own pick, but we don't know if they're keeping Fields or not. It's a great opportunity to move on for him, try to trade him. So I think Fields is a good play. Mooney's out again, so DJ Moore should get a bunch of targets. Komet's questionable also. We did see last week that Foreman was a healthy scratch. So, but then again, some of the other running backs were questionable for playing, so we'll have to see what the situation is there. If all 3 of them are healthy and playing, then I wouldn't touch it. But if it's a couple of them are going to be out and there's only like one of them and some other scrubs behind them, then it might be worth looking at. The Green Bay side of it, I think Reed's my favorite player there. But it did look like Musgrove is potentially back from the IL, so we'll have to look at that and see who's available. I think you can play Love in GPPs too, but I'm not super excited. I think I like the Chicago side of it, and I don't want to be playing that in GPPs also. And then the final game of the day is the Rams and the 49ers. 49ers are favored by -4, but neither side is playing any of their players, supposedly. Both quarterbacks are resting. The only thing is Nakua is going to go out to try to break the rookie record for reception, but he doesn't really need that much. I think he only needs like 60 yards or so. So at his price tag, even if he scores a touchdown, the 60 yards, that's really not enough to pay it off. So not touching that, but some decent value in Mason and Bell for San Francisco that I'd like. I don't really like anybody on the Rams side of it for value, but I'm definitely betting the under on this one. If you take only one bet, like it's 40.5 total with 2 teams full of backups. So I think that total's like way too high. So I think that's probably one of the safest bets on the slate there. So as we said, if I'm paying up for quarterback, Dak, Fields, or Hurts, a little worried about Hurts with like the potential of the Dallas game. Medium range, Geno Smith, Love, and Murray. Smith definitely my favorite there. Cheap, Mullins, Carr, and Taylor, and I'm avoiding Carson Wentz, Zappi, and Semien. For the running backs, if I'm paying up, I want White. I know a lot of people are on Pollard. Kamara might be injured, and Jones. So really out of those 4, I really only would play White pretty much. The rest of the ones are take it or leave it for me. Walker 3, Love the potential there, matchup against Arizona. If he's out, Charbonnet would be one of the best plays on the slate. White, solid play there in cash. Connor, same thing. Hall, GPP, in a sloppy game in New England. Mason's going to be probably pretty popular for San Francisco and also strong junior for Cleveland. Rivers potentially also if as a cheap. And then, like I said, Jamal Williams, I put him there because if Kamara's out, then he's got a juicy matchup. And we saw him really smash early on in the season when Kamara was out. Barkley, Gibbs, Montgomery, and Eckler, I'm fading in cash. Wide receiver Lamb and Jefferson are a top one. There's a lot of value. You can get both of them in most lineups. A.J. Brown, but again, same thing with Hurts. Just kind of worry with the blowout. If Dallas gets up on Washington, that they shut it down on the second half. Devontae Adams should have a good game to finish the season. DJ Moore without Mooney and against a Green Day defense definitely should get some targets, especially if Komet's out also. Hopkins has the incentive in his contract and needs some yards. I think they're going to try to get it for him. Metcalf against the Arizona team, and Evans and Olave are definitely in play also in that range. Lockett, Reed, London, and Addison in the 5-6K range I like. And then I think Kirk's going to be the highest owned player on the slate at 3K if he's active and ready to go. DJ Chark will be pretty popular too as a value. Wendell Robinson and Bell will also be some nice sub-K values. Tight end, if I'm paying up, I'm going Ingram. My McBride and Laporte are definitely in play. Goddard, Ferguson, and Hill in the medium range. Everett, Komet if he plays, and Juwan Johnson if he plays in the cheap range. And then Munt from Minnesota, Gray with no Kelsey in Kansas City, and then Bryant. I believe he's the Cleveland guy that will be playing for Njoku. Are all in play there. Defenses, Cincinnati and the Chargers are the best ones. For DK, Tampa Bay and Dallas are paying up. Carolina and Las Vegas are good punts. And in play are the Jets and New England. I'm avoiding, obviously, Washington and the Giants. So let's look at some lineups to get you on your way for your weekend. So I'm taking Geno Smith. You could also take Mullins here. Mason at running back. Kirk, Metcalf, or Lockett. Cheap tight end here. And then Cincinnati D. DK, or for GPP, give me Dak, Walker, Strong, Lamb, and Hopkins, and then New England defense. Pretty similar for FanDuel. So now FanDuel does have the Buffalo and Miami games, so if you want to play like Tyreek Hill or Josh Allen there, I get it, but I'm pretty taking the same pattern in cash. I'm taking Strong because he's cheaper than Mason here in cash. So Geno Smith, White, Jefferson, Metcalf, and Lockett, and Chargers defense. And then for the GPP, give me Dak, Walker 3, Connor, Hopkins, Lamb, and Las Vegas. So that's what I got for you. If you have a question, you can put them in the chat below. Hopefully you could hear the audio and everything. If not, at least you can read my screen. So thank you for watching this season. I really appreciate it. We should have some videos and information for the playoff. And if you want more information on FSI DFS, you can go into the description of the video and a link to our website and everything, all our packages and stuff there. And if these videos help you this season, help us back by liking, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. So appreciate it. Thanks for watching this season. Check out the playoff videos that are coming up. And in a couple months, I'll be doing NASCAR and Major League Baseball videos again. So can't wait for that. So again, appreciate you watching. Good luck in your contests. And I will see you next time.